Suman left the range thinking he didn't have any penalties, went straight back onto the tracks and then found that he had incurred penalties and was disqualified from the sprint event, so he missed out on the pursuit as well. Vincent de Fraat is clear. Finland clear the targets. Purinen taking it steady. No mistakes from Pfeiffer. No real changes in the top four. Watch the time margins though. Germany were 39 seconds behind. I think they'll be a little bit closer. This is the chasing group. China, Italy, Russia, side by side, and Zhang of China clears all the prone targets and keeps them in the running for a possible medal. Well, that would be a big move. Maybe China is the place that the next Asian venue for the Biathlon World Championships. One or two comments coming in saying, why are they holding it in Korea when they don't really have any biathletes? And they certainly don't have the number of fans that they have in Europe. Well, if your sport's going to expand, you have to bring the major championships to countries like this. And the Koreans, considering the lack of experience, have done exceptionally well. And their volunteers are second to none. No, they don't have the knowledge and the experience, but my goodness, they'll put the hours in to make sure that everything works. And they need a lot of credit for that. David Ekholm's targets all falling, just as Stefan Eklund would have wanted. Vincent de Fraat quick to close down that gap, and these two are taking things pretty steady. They need to be careful because Germany and Finland are closing down. Interesting email from Carolyn Williams wanting to know about the drug testing that was going on. Sorry to bring it up again, just inquiring why it took so long to get the B samples tested from the Russians earlier in the season. Of course, the offence alleged to have taken place in Östersund some 3 months ago. Well, I can only assume, Carolyn, that the reason is that they were using new technology, and that always takes time. They wanted to make sure it was right. They won't even tell us what the drug is, and they certainly won't tell us how they managed to test for it, because I guess the testers just trying to stay one step ahead of the abusers. And I suspect that it was the new technology that took the time, as opposed to anything else. Slightly warmer day today, positive temperatures throughout. The temperature is now starting to drop, so I think the last leg will get a little bit quicker as the night draws in. Full floodlights on at the moment. No real difference in the skiing. You just get the sensation that you're skiing faster when you're under floodlights, which is great. But technically, no harder. Obviously, the transition from warm to cold conditions does mean that there's a little more ice on the surface, so you can just about hear it now as it starts to crackle as they go around the corners. Frank Ulrich, the coach for the German men's team, he looks mighty anxious at the moment, and I think the Germans also know that this is their best chance for a gold medal in an event that involves the men. The women are doing spectacularly well with 2 gold medals from Kadi Wilhelm. Well, she'll be wanting to get that haul in, because Kadi Wilhelm, as many of you will know, has declared that she's going to retire at the end of next season. But she wants to do, her latest statement is she wants to do just as well in the Olympics as she's done here. I think it might be a little bit harder. A year on, it's very difficult to get 2 successive performances like that. She's already got 2 golds, 1 silver. She's not racing today, but she will be back in action in the mass start, and there is no way that they'll leave Kadi Wilhelm out of the women's relay. So she's still got a possibility of taking a haul of 4 gold medals plus the silver that she got in the pursuit. 18.2. Pfeiffer's done well for Germany to pull it back to just 18 seconds from 39. So a good 21 seconds clawed back in the first 3.8 kilometers. And I think the chasing team Zhang is also closing down. He was a minute behind. He's taken 22 seconds out of Vincent de Fraat. So France and Sweden need to be a little bit careful. Well, it's all going to come down to the shooting on this third leg. The standing position. Vincent Defrain has a record of 80%, so that would suggest that he's going to miss at least one in the stand, but he should be able to get that down at the first time of asking with the spare rounds of ammunition. And then, of course, Sweden with David Ekholm. It's a slightly different story. 67% hit rate in the stand for Ekholm. He's very good at the prone and has been all the way through his career. But the stand, he's never quite mastered. He needs to have a word with Helena Jonsson, who is the best in the world, men and women's. So, last few moments and still the pace is slow at the front. I think there's something tactical going on here. They know that the key is to shoot clear. Staffan Eklund sends the message out onto the course that his man has arrived, and I dare say he'll tell them which lane he's on, because the rest of the Swedish team out on the tracks ready to support for the next 10 kilometers or so. Sweden versus France. Germany back into third position, ahead now of Finland. Quick strike for Vincent Defrain. Difficult shot for... Oh, excellent shot from Ekholm. I thought that was going to be tough, because he will have been aware that the French were clear, and the pressure is now on Germany. And a mistake from Pfeiffer. We've seen him crack in individual races. Will he be able to hold his nerve in the relay? Finland have missed as well, so that's another 10 seconds thrown away. This is an important one for Pfeiffer. Finland are clear, back into third. Oh, he's thrown it wide, and I think there'll be a grimace from Mickey Grice in the stadium, because he is next to go on the anchor leg for Germany, and if they want gold, they need to be within 30 seconds. Grice doesn't want to have to work too hard on the first two skiing phases over that first 5 kilometers. Italy starting to fall apart now. Christian De Lorenzi. Zhang of China, same old story. Very fast, very good in the prone, shaky in the stand. Sherzov for Russia. 2 spares required. Norway we haven't seen for a while. Here is Lars Berger going through the targets. He's hit 3 out of 4 so far, 4 out of 5. That's good from Berger. And if Norway are within a minute 20, I think by the time the last leg starts, they'll still think they've got a chance. But Norway fading away at the start. I'll try and update you on what went wrong with them. Shoot number 5, which was the first in this third leg. Norway were 1:35 behind, and as you can see, they're not going to have improved on that position. It all started to go wrong for Ingstadbjorg, I should say, of Norway on leg number 2. They finished the second leg down in 10th position. That penalty loop costing them severely. They were 150, they're back to 135, but they do have Ole Einar Bjorndalen on the last leg. However, with Sweden going exceptionally well, and David Ekholm, I think he's even surprised the coach, Staffan Eklund. Well, that's a great run from Ekholm, and it puts a bit of pressure back on to Carl-Johan Bergman, who takes the last leg. It's going to be Bergman against Forcada. Simon Forcada has been going very well. 3 results in these championships in the top 10, and that takes some doing. 6th, 10th and 4th. Carl-Johan Bergman hasn't raced in all the races, so I think many would think the advantage was to France at the moment. Puranen still 17 seconds behind. 2 misses from Pfeiffer of Germany leave him 20 seconds behind, and starting... Well, he looks as though he's tiring, but he's in the same ilk as Hanna Vold and Tora Berger, those athletes who can just work an extra couple of % harder. They will push their bodies into a state of agony just to gain back a couple of seconds, and I think we'll see that from Pfeiffer over the last kilometre or so. 7.5 Ks the distance for each leg. De Lorenzi of Italy just ahead of Russia, some 13 seconds clear, but still down in 5th, and there is Sherazov looking like a bag of rags. He has lost the form and he's exhausted at the moment. Sherazov working hard on the first 2 loops, but he could lose himself another 10 seconds in the closing stages of leg number 3. Russia now 57 seconds behind. Maxim Shudov on the last leg for them. Shudov denied the gold medal in the pursuit with the reversal of the jury's decision on that disqualification of Bjorndalen. I have to say I was impressed. I got a couple of emails from Norway yesterday saying that they were a little embarrassed that Bjorndalen had been reinstated. Whatever the situation, rules are rules, they say. So, France versus Sweden. This has been an excellent duel so far, and I think the very fact that there are 2 teams up there is getting a little bit more out of them. Here goes Pfeiffer. I told you he'd turn up the screws, even though he was looking a little bit tired, and he's closed the gap to 13 seconds. I wouldn't put it beyond him, closing that down to 3 or 4 seconds by the end of this run. He's picked his mark. He's decided the steep hill was the place to explode, and he's done it. Look, he's just in the background, lurking dangerously. Germany looking to defend the title. Mickey Grice on the last leg for them, who won the title, the overall title, 2 years ago. Grice very poor at the beginning of last season, but by early January he was on form, and then he faded a little in the World Championships. This season his form still slightly below par, although he did win the very first race. I still don't think he hit his best skiing form until Christmas, but a 7th, a 13th and a 19th in the 3 races so far would not indicate that Mickey Grice is on his very best form, but he's going to need to be today because France and Sweden lead him. It's France who will leave first. Simon Foucault hoping to bring them the gold medal, if not the gold, a medal of some colour. Sweden go in 2nd, Germany in 3rd, and look at that, from 17 seconds, in fact from 20 seconds, Pfeiffer has closed the gap to just 4.5. What an excellent bit of work, and I think he might well have got himself a place in the German relay team with that effort. Excellent stuff. Finland in 4, 12.4, and this is as tight we've ever seen in the mixed relay. Italy